Joe, if you had to guess what the Houston Dynamo mascot was, just throw something out there.
Dynamite.
Dynamite?
A little bit of dynamite? Yeah.
It's a fox.
Oh, I was way wrong.
Yeah. I was not expecting a fox either. You know, I was at the game this weekend, which we'll obviously get to later, was not the greatest of games to attend in terms of an Atlanta United fan standpoint. But this fox, which happened to be the Dynamo mascot, got pelted with a 24-ounce Dos Equis.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Uncalled for.
Yeah, coming from the Atlanta section. And that was really the only negative aspect of the game from our fans.
Did you say that's a straight red card?
Oh my gosh, it is.
That's a red card.
You know, but I thought that looking into it, it was a fox. So is that actually against the law to throw things at a fox?
It's not cool to throw things at people on the field. Animal, mascot, person, ref, regardless. It's not cool.
Yeah. I just didn't know the law. I know the law about throwing things at humans. I didn't know once you put on a costume, if you put on a costume of, say, a bird, does that legally make you a bird, or are you still a human at that point? I don't know. We didn't dive that much into it.
You're a furry at that point. That makes you a furry.
Which would then put you under furry law?
Yeah, but
or bird law.
Oh, I don't know the laws. Everything's acceptable. It's whatever you want. Just be yourself.
We digress. Guys, thanks for tuning back in. We're ATLiens United podcast. I'm Blake. This is a slightly depressed ATL Joe, a.k.a. Joe, also known as Joe M, if he's still trying to remain anonymous. We had a rough week with Atlanta United, but we're back for another episode. This is episode 5. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for continuing to listen to us. And we're excited to talk about moving forward this week and all things Atlanta United. I'm Blake. We're ready to get going. Joe, what's going on with Atlanta United?
LGP got hurt this week. Undisclosed amount of time that he's going to be out. Barco hurt last week. We put him in our starting lineup, and all of a sudden, the next day, he's out 4 to 6 weeks. That hurts. Atlanta United lost 4-0. All depressing. On a bright note, Atlanta Brunch Festival this weekend. Atlantic Station. And I know all you folks in Atlanta, all you supporters, anyone that calls himself an Atlantan, loves himself some brunch. I see Blake's holding up a coffee cup.
Yeah.
With our logo on it, too. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. You guys can check it out.
Yeah, we got that from Phantomaniacs.
Yeah.
He makes some sweet coffee cups, and we got some shot glasses, too.
Coffee goes great with brunch.
Yeah. But Atlanta Brunch Festival, check it out. Atlantic Station. It should be a fun time. It's on Saturday, so you can still do brunch. I know Sunday everyone's going to be tailgating for the game, and their brunch will be eating hot dogs or whatever Terminus Legion or Faction or Footy Mob or Resurgence or anyone cooks up.
Yeah. So, quick question about brunch.
All stripes.
Is brunch so it's a festival? Does that mean it's one giant brunch, or is it multiple brunches?
Maybe it's a bunch of brunch samples.
Bunch
of brunch samples.
A bunch of brunch samples.
A bunch of brunch.
Man, I don't know. I don't know if I'm in. I'm on the fence. Do they have coffee?
They've got to have coffee. It's brunch.
Okay. Okay, I'm in.
You're in. Cool. Well, you know, around the MLS this week, we got kicked off. MLS season is underway. A big news, LAFC, they go ahead and win their very first game against depleted Seattle Sounders.
First game ever.
But good for them. They got a win. And then another team, Columbus Crew, went on and took out Toronto FC, the top team from last year that was not named Atlanta United. And Columbus looks like they are on a mission still. They look good. Even with Gassy Zardes, which I thought was going to make them worse, he just starts scoring goals. Anyways, let's get back to the real team that we're talking about, Atlanta United. Blake, you were at the game this weekend. How was the flight?
The flight. I almost missed my flight. I woke up, I thought, with plenty of time. when we got to the airport, we grab our boarding passes, and there's like a fire alarm going off. It's like, boo, boo, boo. And it's like, I was like, this isn't a good start. So we're like, oh, well, screw the fire alarm. We're going to keep going. We got a flight to catch. We got to get to Houston. It's a big game today. We head for security. And it's always a bad sign when you're in line for security before you get to security.
Like, you're in security before you get to security.
Like you're in the line before you actually even get to the checkpoint that tells you that you're in the security line. So when you're in line before the line, it's trouble.
Yeah, it's going to take a while to get to your flight.
Yeah, and again, I'm all for passenger airplane safety. I'm all for making sure no one's bringing any weapons on the flight.
Were you surrounded by Atlanta United supporters?
Again, because I was flying in that morning and flying out that night, I literally just had my wallet and my cell phone. That was it.
Yeah.
So I was a little bit frustrated. I was like, clearly I have no bags. I have no weapons, But we sat in security for about, and I say sat, I could have sat down. I stood in security for about, close to an hour and a half. It was rough. I don't know what was going on. I don't know if TSA was understaffed, but anyways, ended up running to my flight, get on the plane, and from there on out, honestly, it was a great experience up until kickoff. Landed in Houston, had some brunch. We've been talking about brunch. Had kind of a Mexican-style brunch. I was down in Texas. Got some breakfast tacos. Fantastic time.
Did you meet any cool Atlanta United supporters?
Man, the plane was packed full of them. Not only was the plane packed full of Atlanta United supporters, right before we landed, we got the flight attendants to play We Ready over the plane intercom.
No way.
Yeah. So we touched down in Houston, and it's just like, We Ready. Dope. Yeah, so obviously, even though it was still 7 in the morning, everyone was hyped at that point. Went out, had some breakfast cocktails, and went and tailgated at
Any Irish coffee?
No Irish coffee. I went
some mimosas.
I went some straight airplane terrible black coffee.
Oh, you were flying Spirit, so they don't have the good drinks on Spirit.
One of those. It might have been Folgers. It might have been
probably Maxwell
or Community. One of the cheap guys, but it was still a good cup of black coffee. But anyways. Went to this great brewery. It was called Eighth Wonder Brewery in downtown Houston.
Oh, yeah.
It was a walking distance from the game after brunch.
That was right next to Lucky Street Pub that I went to when I spent my dreaded time in Houston.
Yeah, and a great group of Atlanta United fans there. There were some supporters groups meeting up there. I got to catch the Liverpool-Newcastle United game, which Liverpool pulled through on, thankfully.
That's right.
I had a great time in Houston leading up until kickoff. Joe, what happened after kickoff?
Blake, all the hype. Everyone was ready for Atlanta to come out, guns blazing, score goals in the first few minutes. Well, a goal got scored in the first 5 minutes, but it went to Houston. And, oh my God, Blake, what the heck happened? Are you kidding me? Houston beat us 4-0. We came out so weak, so soft. Not a single player looked good. Let's go over a couple of the goals. All 4 of the goals scored.
If we have to.
We have to. I want to break it down and tell you where people made mistakes, which is everyone on the team. No one is a hero here. Everyone is at fault. Goal number 1. There's a ball cleared from the Houston side. Goes to the corner. LGP, who at the time, LGP and Lorenowitz were the only 2 back, because our 2 wing backs were so far up the field. LGP has to hightail it over to the right-hand corner while Albert Ellis is bombing down the field, racing to the ball, and Ellis is a step ahead of LGP. He tries to muscle him off, and Ellis runs right through LGP. He trips over his feet, acts like a little weakling, falls down. Instantly from there, he's cutting into goal, and Lorenowitz, who I don't blame him fully for this, but it's kind of a theme that happened the rest of the game. Lorenowitz froze between his player, who was marking right in front of the goal, and Ellis. But in soccer, as soon as your center back goes down, you've got to cut, and you've got to slide over to take the ball. Well, Lorenowitz froze, and during the same time, you had Escobar on the back post, who was covering a player on the far end, but he ran over to cover Lorenowitz and do the extra slide, but Lorenowitz froze. Escobar had no idea what to do, so he was stuck between 2 players, and then Ellis had all the time in the world to make his decision. He could choose to shoot, which he didn't have to, and then he could choose to pass to one of the two open players. And he made the right decision, passed it, got a wide open goal. And the mistakes continued.
Terrible. Terrible.
Goal number 2 comes off a set piece. And I talked about it last episode. Atlanta United has been bad at set pieces. Houston was one of the best teams at set pieces last year. They take a short corner. Instantly, you see in the setup, you got 3 players of Atlanta United on the back post, 4 Houston Dynamo. That's a mismatch all day. You got Julian Gressel was standing in no man's land, marking nobody. He should have been on the back post, but he was in the middle. As soon as the ball's played in the center, Gressel steps up into the middle of the box, marking no one still. You got McCann just completely runs away from his player. In the back post, Ellis again comes in and sets a pick and a free header on the back post. 4 Houston Dynamo players jump up to head the ball. Not a single Atlanta United player jumps. And then the third goal. This epitomizes the day of Atlanta United. Alberth Ellis again makes a sweet pass off a one-touch, no-look pass. It looked really good, obviously, because you had 7 Atlanta United players standing there watching the pass. Now, Escobar is busting his tail and stops the cutter, who looks like he's going to make it to the ball first. Escobar slides in and stops him from getting the ball. Now, if LGP and Lorenowitz wanted to dive back down, could have been the first to the ball to clear it out. They could, if they made a break on the ball, but I've got a little graphic that shows them just standing there flat-footed, and Houston's player cuts in, chips the ball. Brad Guzan was stuck on an island. Not his fault at all until the 4th goal. Brad Guzan, a little too late, a little too little too much, but he sees a cross, another set piece coming from the corner, and Guzan comes out. He's like, oh, my God, I got this ball. I can do this. He does it all the time. Comes out and punches the ball away. No, he punches the ball into the middle of the box. Easy chip into the goal. That's about the summary of the game.
Man.
Are you kidding me? This may have been one of the worst games that I've seen Atlanta United play. Lorenowitz, I don't know what you're doing. You do not need to be a center back. Tata, what the heck? You need to be more assertive. You need to find yourself a true center back. You need to change up your lineup. What do you think, Blake?
You know, Joe, I got a couple questions for you because obviously you were very hung up on the goals. The goals, I watched them all live. It was brutal. I would like to throw a shout out to our fan support on the road. I know I was part of it. This isn't a toot my own horn thing, but we really kept singing all the way through. Down 4-0, we were still louder than the Houston faithful. The only chant that they really threw at us was, "We can't hear you," to which we responded by, kind of crouching down and doing the really quiet, tra-la,
oh, yeah.
la, la, la.
The build-up.
Yeah. And once
then
we
by
hit
the
them
third
with
time,
it,
you
it was
jumped
just
up.
tra-la-la-la-la-la, and they weren't ready for it. And it was a lot of fun.
Oh, man. You know what? That gives me the player of the game. Number 17. I thank all you number 17s for coming out rowdy and proud. You showing our true support. And we got a full season. It's early.
Yeah, it was awesome road support. You talked about my trip earlier, kind of leading up to the game. The fans, Atlanta United fans, we had a couple fans in our section that maybe got a little bit out of control. I know I mentioned the Dos Equis thrown at the mascot. That guy got escorted out. We had a couple guys harassing our players, which I never like to hear. First game. You got to get behind our team. And we're looking for fans, especially on the road, that are behind our team for the full 90 plus stoppage. And we had that. We were down 4-0. We were still singing. We were still chanting ATL. A couple of things I wanted to point out, Joe. I know you touched on the goals. We talked about set pieces and our weakness against set pieces. And for those people that, haven't grown up playing soccer or watched a ton of soccer, there's two different kinds of marking that you can operate under on set pieces. You have zonal and man marking.
Yeah.
It sounded like we attempted some poor version of zonal marking, because how many of these goals were set piece goals? Was it two of the goals were set piece goals? And then the third one was, just kind of being flat-footed. Another goal was just poor defense. Every time we had basically a defender, in my eyes, from my vantage point, that what you said was stuck in no man's land.
Right.
We had a defender that was staring at the ball and and there was 2 guys between him and the ball, and he didn't know where to be, and it resulted in a goal. Even in Brad's case, which was just a terrible error, Brad gets caught in no man's land.
Yeah.
So my question for you is, what is our defensive tactic? Why do we continually get people caught in no man's land? And honestly, I'm going to go ahead and be blunt and be honest. This is a trend continuing from last year. This isn't something we fixed last year. This was our weakness. Games on the road.
Are you sure about that?
Against set pieces.
Against set pieces, yes, definitely.
I think that we have always ended up with people in no man's land, especially on the defensive side. Our road record was our biggest weakness last year. We open the season on the road and lose by 4. Joe, what do you think is our defensive strategy right now? Are we still looking to bring players in?
Yeah, tactically, I really want to bring up a point. We've talked about it all preseason, and it's almost like just keep bringing up the same point. Just keep bringing up the same point. But the loss of Carmona in the middle, it was one that a ton of fans were worried about, and how is it going to affect it? Well, it looked like we have no control over the middle of the field. Something that just keeps happening, it looked like Escobar, who I was really high on the right side, he was busting his tail that game, but every time you saw the ball on the right side of the field, it was only Escobar. Like, where are you, McCann? Why are you not covering that side of the field?
Right.
Where are you, Nagby? Nagby, his whole career's drifted left. He's a left-sided player. Miguel Almiron's a left-sided player. They all drift left. McCann, I don't know what side of player, but obviously he plays left back. He keeps drifting to the left. The whole right side of the field is wide open, and you cannot cover that with one player and then hoping Tito comes back to cover it as well. It's not working. So we have a player left on an island over there on the right side. One thing I did notice as a positive view, and still didn't help much, but when Michael Parkhurst came into the game to help relieve LGP from getting hurt, he seems like he is a general, a field general. He comes in and solidifies the positioning of the back line. A little bit of help. He lets people know where they're going to go, and you can see him talking out in the field. He brings them back into a positional awareness, and he's really good with the ball at his feet. And he comes in, and we played a lot better at the back.
I have to totally agree with you. I think that once we get that partnership, hopefully, back healthy of LGP and Parkhurst. Last year, that was when we went on that winning run. That was our back line.
That was it.
If LGP and Parkhurst keep that same chemistry from last year and keep that game mentality of, hey, Parkhurst is kind of the general and LGP is the ball winner. Because that's what we'd see. Parkhurst directing traffic, LGP just making ridiculous slide tackles, really attacking the ball.
Yes,
that's where I think LGP thrives. What we saw this game was LGP was aggressive, but he had no Parkey to back him up. And to me, that was 2 of the goals, was LGP being aggressive without a general on the field to back him up. And I can't wait to get that partnership back. Unfortunately, like you mentioned at our news section at the beginning of the episode, LGP is hurt. It looks like a hip contusion from everything I've read. Contusion is basically a deep bruise. And so hopefully he can heal from that as quickly as possible.
Did you read anything about how long he's going to be out? Because I have not seen that.
The official Atlanta United press release is day to day.
That's good.
That is great news in terms of, okay, no procedure here. No MRI. He's just got a really, really bad bruise, and hopefully he can heal as quickly as possible. Drink some OJ, LGP, whatever you got to do, man. Load up on whatever vitamins you need, man. We need you back in the game. I don't know if he's going to be back for DC. I definitely think he'll be back after DC.
He hasn't announced that he's not going to be back for DC.
Very true.
And LGP, everyone, I've read a bunch of comments. I've read a bunch of analysis. A lot of people are knocking LGP's game, and he did not have a good game by any means. No one on Atlanta had a good game. But I'm going to defend him for just a second. When I first watched the game, I was with you guys. Oh my God, this is the worst game I've ever seen LGP play. He's doing so bad. But I go back and watch the game, and several times during the game, I see one-on-ones with LGP chasing the defender, and he is the single defender back. And I see Lorenowitz coming in about 2 seconds, 3 seconds later, trying to run. Well, Houston's attack was fast, and LGP was keeping up with them, and he was the one guy trying to make tackles. And you had old Big Red trailing behind the game, trying to catch up, but really lost. Big Red's not a center back.
No.
And I hope Tata realizes that. It doesn't seem like it the way he's been putting him in there. And I bet we see him this next game. But I really want to see him back at that center defensive mid where he's a little bit better. But he does not have the speed to keep up with some of these MLS attacking players.
Well, Joe, that game would drive any man to drink. I told you when I was in Houston, I went to Eighth Wonder Brewery. I couldn't get back any sooner. I really needed some Atlanta beer.
Beer of the week! Thank you, Blake. Thank you. It is beer of the week time. This week we got Scofflaw Hooligan.
Scofflaw?
It's got a quaint soccer name, Hooligan.
Birdlaw.
A little bit of a derogatory term for when soccer fans get a little obnoxious and rowdy and proud.
Like the guy that tossed the beer at the mascot?
Yes. They would consider him a hooligan. I like the name. I like the brewery. Just a mile away from where I live. So I frequent the brewery. It's a cool little warehouse with a concrete lot that everyone inside, outside. It's fun.
Got good beer.
Guess what? I brought my golden spike.
All right.
And my hammer.
Let's do it.
You want to give us a little ATL chant with me?
I'm ready.
See if I can get this beer.
Let's do it.
A-T-L. That's right. New season.
That was a great open.
Cheers, Blake.
Cheers, Joe.
Let's give this a little try.
A little Scofflaw Hooligan. Delicious beer. A lot of tropical flavors coming through there.
Yeah, it's really good. It's got a little lemony orange flavor.
Tropicalness.
Definitely a bunch of fruit flavor coming in.
A lot of fruit.
It's pretty smooth.
Joe, I'm excited. I'm excited now that we got this beer open. It's just reminded me of tailgating this upcoming week, It's going to be the first week of Atlanta United tailgating.
That's right. We're back in the A.
I know you mentioned Brunch Festival. What else we got coming up is the block party for Atlanta United as well on Saturday.
Block party, I'm going.
Yeah, if you want to hit Brunch Festival in the morning, head to the block party, Virginia Highlands.
Blake, I got nothing else going on this weekend. I'm going to block party. I know you're going to be out of town at that time. You're coming back in for the Atlanta United game.
Yeah.
I'm coming. I'm going to be at block party, but I don't know who to go with, so maybe I'm just going to go there and try to introduce myself to a bunch of people, see if I can meet a bunch of Atlanta United fans that I don't know.
Yeah.
If you recognize me from the podcast, say hey, and I'll say hey.
Yeah, it'll be like, hey, you, and you can be like, hey, you, and then I don't know what you guys will do after that, but I'm excited
We'll drink
to hear
some
about
beers.
It. Yeah.
We'll party it up.
I'm going to be out of town, obviously all leading up to our game on Sunday. Another big thing to point out, I don't know if you've been checking social media this week, Joe, but 3 Taverns, which has been a great partner of Atlanta United, a great partner of the Resurgent Supporters Group, is releasing a Atlanta United themed beer.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
This is not out yet.
That's great.
But it's going to be released today, actually, when we release this podcast, and it is the Rowdy and Proud IPA. And there's going to be a beer release party. It's starting at 4. The real party apparently starts at 7. If you guys are, it's open to the public. If you're Atlanta United fans, if you're a member of Resurgence or any supporters group, come on out. Check out this beer.
You're going there, aren't you?
Man, I'm already going to be out of town.
You're going to be out of town.
Yeah. So you guys will have to be there. Let me know how the beer tastes. You guys never know.
Well, I know Britt and Ben
on the show later.
Britt and Ben, our producers, said that they're going to try to make it over there after they go to the aquarium for Faction's party.
That's right. That's right. Faction, and I believe it's not just Faction. It's all of Atlanta United. It's part of the March to Soccer. It's an event at the Georgia Aquarium. Stripe the Sea, I believe is what it's called. They did a flag release earlier in the week. There's a lot of Atlanta United promotions going on this week. Everyone's getting excited about this home opener. don't forget to tailgate, guys. Don't forget to get out and enjoy the atmosphere because that's really what this is all about. It's about uniting our city. It's about fans getting out, meeting new people, really finding a common goal to unite under, and this home opener is a great representation of that. I am super, super thrilled that we're back home. The Gulch, 11 a.m. on Sunday. I'm sure it'll be rocking before even 11 a.m.
I'll be there.
And
we're gonna. I haven't decided if we're getting a parking pass because I don't know if I want to drink and then drive home. But we'll be in the Gulch. We'll bring our flags. Come recognize us. Come say, hey, I'm going to be drinking. I'm going to go to Terminus Legion's tailgate.
Yeah.
That's who I'm a member with. But I'm also going to try to venture over to Footy Mob. That's where Britt is a member with. And I know you're Resurgence.
Yeah.
And it's the whole party is in the Gulch. I mean, you got all stripes. I don't know if they have announced if they're in the Gulch or not, but I know that their members will be.
Yeah, well, the Gulch is a spot to be before the game. I think we've established that. Really exciting things going on there. If you guys are, just kind of fringe Atlanta United supporters, you want to know what the atmosphere is about, get down to the Gulch. Get down there as early as you can on Sunday morning after maybe get a little breakfast in you. And, just come out and enjoy the atmosphere because it's going to be a great atmosphere. Last I checked, we were about 20 tickets from selling out the entire freaking stadium for this home opener. All the way up to the 300 level.
Oh, it's going to get sold out.
70,000 plus, man. And it's going to be a great atmosphere. Our team has never needed us more than this game. Coming off a really, really a confidence-breaking loss. I mean, we lost 4-0. A lot of teams that can shatter your confidence. We need to get behind them. We need to let them know we're here from the first minute to the last minute. And no matter the outcome, we're going to keep coming back and supporting them. I think that's crucial for us. We're such a young club. A lot of people could say, well, we've just supported them through a really great opening season. There's going to be some dips in form. There's going to be some dips in performance. I just really want our fans to come out.
It's a great test right now. Here's a good test for Atlanta United support. And I know it's not going to falter. It's a home opener. We're opening it to 70,000 people. And let me tell you about all the negatives that come from game one. There were some positives.
Yeah.
The game was a wide open game. Mm-hmm. It went back and forth. We had our fair share of chances.
We could have scored a couple goals. We really could have.
Yeah, we easily could have scored. I mean, Miggy missed a couple. Joseph had a clear goal, and then it was a penalty that he went off the post. A couple of unfortunate events. It played a little bit into our style. We just lacked the defensive soundness that we had last year.
Yeah.
And it's all fixable. All fixable. And now we got our game against DC United. The first of 3 of the DC of who wins the United treble, which I believe DC won that one last year.
Yeah, we got skunked. We didn't win any of them.
We won against Minnesota United. We lost 3 to DC United, and we lost another to Minnesota United. So we are not, at the moment, the top United in the league.
No.
Well, now's our time to claim that throne. And DC United's got one of our familiar foes on their team. They've got Yamil Assad.
Not a familiar foe.
He is now.
He used to be my friend. Someone I really looked up to. He scored our first ever goal.
Well, you know what? He's got a trend of that. He scored the first ever goal this season for DC United.
I saw that.
Yeah, they got to play one of our very familiar foes, Orlando City. And he was able to say, hey, I know you guys. I'm going to take a little bit of a Tito the Lion Tamer. I want to put a goal in on you. And he did a typical Yamil Assad. He drew a foul. Guy got a yellow card. And then something Atlanta never really gave him. They let him do the free kick. He takes it about 35 yards outside the box, left side of the field. Kicks up a beauty, a curler into the box. It looked like he was really aiming for a header or someone to get onto the ball. Well, 2 people jumped, whiffed on the ball, and Bendick was sitting there frozen, didn't know what to do. And
as usual,
the ball drifts into the middle of the net and just goes in. And bravo to Yamil to getting himself a goal.
Slight golf clap.
Yeah. He had the first goal of our season. Not many people mention he had the last goal of Atlanta United season 2.
That's true.
So maybe he'll do the same for DC. And maybe he'll go on a quiet streak in the middle of the year including the second game of the year when he plays us. Another deal that Yamil did last game, he drew a red card.
I saw that.
The kid was amazing last year at drawing penalties, drawing cards. Well, he had a PC, politically correct. It's a player on Orlando City. They got a PC police jumping up to go for a header, and both arms flailing out, punches him in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the game goes on for another minute or two, and then they bring out VAR, and they realize, oh, yeah, that's a straight red card. Yeah. There you go. Yamil Assad drawing cards, drawing fouls. He was a little pest.
Well, the thing about Assad, I don't have any hate for Assad. I love the guy, honestly. I also don't have any hate that he was saying, okay, it looks like I'm outside of the starting 11. I want to go somewhere where I can be part of the starting 11. If we take off our Atlanta United tinted glasses, and you and I were professional soccer players, and they said, hey, Joe, you're
I'm a professional soccer player?
Right now, for this analogy, you are.
Oh, man, this is the life I want.
You're not going to cut our starting 11. What do you do? Do you go find a team that will put you a part of their starting 11, or do you stay at home?
You know what I would do?
It's a good question to ask.
You want to ask me that question for real?
I did.
I'd sit at home. I'd stay on my team, and I would fight and earn my way into that starting 11.
That's a good point.
Look at Julian Gressel.
Look at Gresselmania. I guess I understand where Assad was coming from, but I missed the heck out of the guy. And especially with Barca going down before we ever even played a game.
And now we got Assad to take his spot.
If you look at that game, not to go back to the Houston game too much, but it just threw off everything. We got Miggy on the left. We have to move, McCann into the midfield, Lorenowitz in the center back. It was like a domino effect. Yeah. And all I kept thinking about was, man, I wish we still had Assad. I guess what I'm getting at is, Sunday, Yamil, I still love you. But please, 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 just take it easy on us.
No, I want to put the over-under right now. How many... I want to say fouls, but I'm going to go ahead and say cards. How many yellow/red cards is Yamil Assad going to draw on Atlanta United players being too aggressive, and he is so good at drawing that foul? I'm going to go 2. Over under 2 cards. He did 2 in the first game.
Yeah.
Over under 2 yellow or red cards does Yamil Assad draw on an Atlanta United player?
I think I'd go with 3. I think probably 2 from a defender and 1 from an angry attacker. Maybe Tito tracking back. I think Garza will probably grab one on him.
No, I don't think Garza will get a card. Garza and Yamil have a little bromance going on.
Maybe Zizzo, if Zizzo plays.
Garza might get one if he comes up and just gives him a huge bro hug in the middle of a game.
Throws in a little knee.
Yeah.
Just knees him. At it. Yeah. Yeah, no, but Yamil, we hope you play terrible on Sunday and have a great rest of your season. I think that's
Yamil
all I
can score
say.
1 goal against his own team, be our little secret weapon thrown behind the scenes.
Or just keep scoring against Orlando. We never mind that. We're never going to get mad if you score against Orlando, Yamil. That's just
outside of Yamil Assad, DC United, they've got another player coming back, Luciano Acosta. He had a holdover from last season, red card, suspension, and he didn't play game 1. Now he's coming back game 2, and if you don't remember, he scored a goal against us at Bobby Dodd.
Great player.
He is a fantastic player. Yamil Assad and him are definitely their top 2 players. They're loaded in the midfield, but they don't have an attacker. They don't have a great defense. So they're really going to sit back a lot like Houston did. A little sit back, play real solid defense, try as best they can, and push it forward. But they don't have the attacking presence that Houston had.
Yeah.
And, with Yamil and Luciano Acosta, they do kind of have some speed on the outside. But they're not as big. They're not as fast. So, and really, it's a USL team with a couple of designated players.
Well, Joe, we've talked a lot about DC. I wouldn't call them a USL team necessarily. But,
You remember how they finished last year?
They finished pretty terribly. They beat us 3 times, so I'm going to give them respect for that, and I always will.
They beat us and no one else in the league. That's about it.
That's true. They got our number. We can't talk any smack yet. What are you thinking that Tata puts out there? I think we need to talk about Tata's tactics.
A little Tata tactics?
I think we need to talk about what's our starting love in this game. Much criticized starting love in the last game. What does he throw out there? Just so for our listeners to get a picture of this lineup again.
First off, I want to call out that you said starting love.
Starting love.
That's a new hashtag.
Maybe.
Instead of starting 11, it's our starting love.
I love our players, Joe. Can I not make them my starting love?
I will give you my starting love.
I also need the 11.
I will give you 11 players that I love.
That's exactly what I was getting at.
All right.
Go right ahead. What's our starting lineup going to look like this week, Joe?
Well, Tata does not vary from what he likes to do. But I'm going to give you a little bit of variance. And you know that left side of the field, we had Miggy starting there. Barco originally was who was going to be slotted in there, and people thought Gressel or Tito would invert over there. I'm going to go with the fan base, and I want Tata to start Carlton there.
Ooh.
We need Carlton. I would love to see him. We missed a glaring opportunity to put him in at least as a starter last week. But also, we were down 4-0. Second half, put a 17-year-old kid in there. Just last week, you had Vancouver. They had a 17-year-old phenom go in and score a goal for them and looked great. I forget his name off the top of my head, but this little kid looks awesome. Why can't that be Carlton? When I saw him score a goal, I was like, we have a kid. He's one of our own. He can do that.
Yeah, he is one of our own.
And so I want Carlton on my left. I want to keep Martinez, Villalba. I want to put Miggy back in the center where he can control the field. He looked lost on the left. He kept drifting towards the center, and that's where he needs to be in our offense. Now I want to talk about the very blatant weaknesses, and that's defensive midfield, defense itself. LGP, I'm going to assume, is out, although by the time we post this episode, they're going to say, hey, LGP is playing. No, but I'm going to put... I thought long and hard about this. I threw Robinson in there, but Tata doesn't like him. I've thrown a couple other options. I don't want Larinowitz back there. I thought he was the worst player from last game.
Mm-hmm.
So I would want to slide Escobar in the middle, put Parkhurst, who I don't understand why he didn't start last game if he played a full 60 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Parkhurst and Escobar in the middle. Push Larinowitz up into the center defensive midfield. I'm done with McCann. Put someone else there. And you know Oliver Shannon is not on the team right now because he doesn't have the right paperwork. He's not on the 30-man roster.
Yeah, some sort of
You know Gosselin is on the ATL UTD too.
Yeah, what was with Shannon? It was a work permit, I believe. Is that what he's having trouble acquiring?
I don't know what exactly that sounds right. It's some sort of paperwork he's having trouble acquiring. He's not on there. Wild card, Andrew Wheeler-Aminu, who had a great preseason in a lot of our minds. He's not even on the roster.
Yeah.
I guess they have him as ATL UTD 2 right now.
Mm-hmm.
So we still are like question mark at center defensive mid. And I'm going to go ahead and say Tata's going to put McCann in the center. But I want to see Larinowitz there. That's his more natural position. But I said Escobar into the center back. And then we got to throw in Saul Zizzo on the right side. Maybe I would want to see Gressel over there. But I want to see a defensive player because our defense is where it's bad right now. What do you have any thoughts? Like, you have any additions that you want to put in there?
You know, I totally agree with you. I think Carlton should definitely get minutes this game. I think that was something that was kind of a glaring, what the heck, Tata moment last week is why isn't Carlton in the game? We're down 4-0. We need a goal. He brings on Kratz. Now, I'm not saying that Kratz played poorly. I'm just saying that was Kratz really the answer that was going to get us back into that game? You know, I don't think that was the best call by Tata. I thought Kratz had a decent game. I actually think Kratz slots back into this midfield. I think we're either going to see Kratz and Nagby pairing with Almiron in front of him, or I think that we might see a McCann and Kratz pairing with Nagbe even possibly sliding to the bench. You know, Tata actually in a press conference after the game kind of called out Nagbe for not being as sharp as he had seen him in preseason.
Okay.
I also feel like for whatever reason, Tata is hesitant to play Carlton. I don't know what it is. I just get that hesitancy. You know, the fans were chanting his name from Section 230 in Houston. Andrew Carlton.
Yeah.
And they had he's one of our own. He's one of our own. He's one of our own. Andrew Carlton. He's one of our own. Still nothing from Tata.
And you know they could hear that, right? You were there.
Yeah, it was loud.
How loud
and clear.
was it?
It was loud and clear. And so I guess it was frustrating because we're down 4-0 on the road. Put the kid in. He's a spark off the bench. He's an attacker. But I get that hesitancy. So I fully expect to see Gressel in that front three if we don't see Miggy in that front three again.
Now, that's a good point. A lot of people were thinking Gressel on the left side, or I've seen a lot of people say invert Villalba, put Gressel on the right where he's more comfortable.
Yeah.
But another thing that Tata did a lot last year is they put Brandon Vasquez on the left side.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brandon Vasquez could be a very good option there. But
another young youth U.S. international player. You know, we want to see Vasquez get minutes too. I just think everyone's excited about Carlton. Maybe it's an exaggeration of his ability, but we want to see something exciting this week, Tata. Hopefully we bring out the best starting love that you can bring us. And with that, Joe, you know, I'm just ready for Sunday. I'm
ready for Sunday. Hey, come meet us at the tailgate. If you recognize me, I'm going to bring a cooler of King of Pops. King of Pops is a big Atlanta United supporter, and we support them as well. And also, we'll bring our swag. We got a couple of things from Phantomaniacs. Chuck does a great job. Blake's drinking out of that coffee mug. That's pretty
and
sweet.
Popsicles. Coffee and popsicles.
Come talk to us. We're going to do some
Sunday
tailgating
morning.
games. We're going to be all around the Gulch. Just give us a shout, and I'm ready. It's the home opener. Get excited.
Yeah.
Let's go out and have fun. Hit us up on social media. ATLiens United. We're on Twitter, ATLiens United, Facebook. We're on Instagram, ATLiensUnited@gmail.com. Just give us out. Did I miss one?
I don't think so. I mean, do we have a? No, we don't. We don't have a. What's that thing that everyone's showing?
Tinder?
Is it Twitch?
Oh, not Tinder.
No, Tinder. Oh, we don't have a Tinder account yet either, but we're working on one for Joe because he needs some friends for the block party. So if you see Joe pop up on Tinder this weekend, he's not looking for romantic interest. It's just another United fan on Saturday in the Highlands.
That's right. Be good. Be cool.
Yeah.
You cool?
You guys be safe.
I'm cool.
Don't drive drunk. Thanks for listening. This beer is super tasty. Like, it's really tropical. Like, I don't know how else to describe it. I can't, like, isolate a fruit, but it's like, okay, I taste all the fruits. It's like a Capri Sun when you're a kid.
I definitely taste an orange.
It tastes like a Capri Sun. I know we talked about Capri Suns earlier in the show, didn't we? Like, episode 1. Did we talk about Capri Suns?
Earlier seasons?
Yeah.